Let's talk about Iron Lung, which I think is definitely the big talking point we need to be having right now, because this is the Markiplier movie, which is based on a video game of the same name. And I will tell you, I have not watched this yet. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it because there's been so much going on, but I do definitely want to get into watching what this movie's about, because I really think what it's doing right now in the theaters and all of that is really paving the way for a brighter future, in my opinion. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. But let's talk about Iron Lung, which actually came in second place at the box office. Now, this box office had sent help, which was Sam Raimi returning to form of sorts, which I did get the opportunity to watch that, and I really enjoyed it. I have a video talking about it as well. In second place was Iron Lung, in third place was the Melania documentary, and I believe in fourth place was Zootopia, and then I believe Avatar Fire and Ash. Nonetheless, we are here to talk about Iron Lung, which really has surpassed all expectations. So this was a passion project from Markiplier, who is a pretty big YouTuber. I can't really say I've ever watched a Markiplier video. I know who he is. I've seen clips and all of that. Seems like a good guy. And I think that this definitely has proven that Markiplier, as well as the other ecosystem of creators out there that are trying to break through to what I would call the mainstream, can definitely have a plausible way. This isn't the first time a YouTuber becomes a filmmaker either. We've seen it just recently with Chris Stuckman. Also, of course, Raka Raka just had two back-to-back hits, in my opinion, with Talk to Me as well as Bring Her Back. And I think it's proving that we are definitely entering an age where we're going to see more people definitely have their start in filmmaking, not by going to film school and all that, but by actually starting to create content online. And it won't be soon before long we see other platforms probably make the jump, like TikTok and all of that. And I do think that Markiplier's situation is a little bit different because, yes, Chris Stuckman had the whole neon route. We have Raka Raka with Sundance, A24, and all of that. But we see Markiplier here proving that you don't really need all of these like distributors and companies and all of that to back you up. You can just go out and release something if you have the following, the fan base, and all of that. So something to note here is that the movie was apparently on a budget of $3 million to make. It went on to gross over this weekend $21 million, so 7x its budget already. And I believe if you want to go into the nitty gritty, it just had to make 6 to 7 million to become profitable. So now it's just pure profit. It's still going to be playing, and I believe expanding in more markets. According to the release that I read, it was only supposed to play in about 60 cinemas of sorts. Of course, a grassroots campaign started and people started to demand it to be played in more theaters, which caught the attention of AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all of that. And I think that's just great already to hear that people are really driving for this. And, you know, I don't necessarily buy into the whole like, oh, there's never a good movie on no more this weekend. I think that movies have been pretty consistent and they've been really, really great in my opinion these last 5 years. So I'm not somebody here who's going to come on and say, yeah, this is what we need, real movies. Because I think there's always real good movies playing all weekend. And I think that this is more a story to take as, I think that we don't need the big machine as much as they think that we do. And this isn't to say that I think Hollywood's just now going to disappear and it's just going to be independents and creators and all that doing them. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think there's just too much money at stake that they wouldn't let that happen. But I think that what they are going to be doing now is opening that field up more and letting others come through and present their projects and all of that. Now, do I think that at one point we're going to be seeing like independent creators and all that be side by side? Yes. Do I think they'll ever surpass the big machine that is Hollywood and all that? I don't think that would happen. That's just not something I see them letting happen at all. But I do like this open sort of like field now that we have that Markiplier has sort of knocked down. And yes, there's been independent productions and things like that we've seen in just recent years that have definitely proven that there are people out there that don't want to follow quote unquote the mainstream and will go just to these movies. And I think that's been a thing we've seen before already. But I think the whole Markiplier story just adds more to it, that if you do have that passion, if you do have that following, and if you do have that drive, you can make it to top 3 in the box office. And I see already some people saying, well, it was a slow month and all that, but you got to think about what was actually coming out. A new Sam Raimi film, who Sam Raimi's pretty big. Rachel McAdams is a pretty big draw. Dylan O'Brien's a pretty big draw as well. Different demographics here pulling in to send help, right? Then you have the Melania documentary, which I did not watch and I don't plan to, but there's an audience there. We know there's an audience there for that. And now you have Aaron Lung sandwiched in the middle, who is being presented by probably one of the biggest gaming YouTubers, but still, gotta remember, it can be pretty niche to the common person out there. Like, if you go out there to a local supermarket and just ask everybody, do they know who Markiplier and all of that is? I don't think for the majority more than half would know, right? And I think that's what really makes this story so great. There is something so fascinating and interesting about hearing about a YouTuber who went out, did the movie they wanted to do, they were passionate about it, put it out in theaters, the fan base was able to grow the word to the theaters, we want this playing in theaters, we're gonna go see it. And they did. They showed up, it made the bank, and it's proving that there is a way through now. So hopefully this is just the start of the beginning and we get to see more of these filmmakers. I promise you there probably will be some roadblocks ahead, especially from Hollywood and all of that, because they want the financiers, they want the production companies, they want the distributors involved here. They don't like it when it's just the individual to the theater, which I think is how it should be always. But that's just my opinion right there. But big Hollywood definitely is feeling some type of way about this, and I'm glad that there is a change coming. So we'll see what this means for the future, but nonetheless, congratulations to Markiplier, the whole team behind Aaron Lung. I have yet to see it, but definitely will be seeing it pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. So let me know what you thought about Aaron Lung. Have you watched it or not? Were you a big fan of Markiplier? Were you one of the first people to watch it over the weekend, and were you excited about it? And will you be supporting other creators as well that you probably enjoy once they do these projects as well? Is this the future? Do we have a future where creators can just go in, make their movie, finance it themselves, distribute it themselves, and then ultimately not have to have a middle person throughout? I don't know. It sounds like a good future to me, in my opinion, because it definitely leads to more creativeness. Regardless of how you felt about the movie or not, if you watched it, all that, I think we got to applaud the effort was there, and that they definitely are proving that there is a bright future for artists, creatives, all alike. So that's all I had to say. Just want to talk about that pretty quickly today. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about more horror movies coming out in February, so don't miss out on that video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see all of you next time. As always, stay safe, stay positive.